Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingrid Jones, and thanks for deciding to tune in to watch my preview for Dominic Breazeale against Anthony Joshua, Joshua versus Dominic Breazeale. Apologies for lighting at the moment. I don't know what's wrong with my camera, but obviously it's not lighting the room like it should be. Okay, so don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments. Once again, I'd like to say thank you for those people who tune in and watch the videos, the interviews, and give lots of feedback via Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, and all the rest of it. Okay, so I've got to make this one pretty short and brief, and it's no disrespect to Dominic Breazeale or Anthony Joshua. It's just time constraints. But okay, Joshua fights Dominic Breazeale from America, unbeaten heavyweight. My thoughts about this fight. First and foremost, I think Breazeale's he's been given a lot of stick for going down to Amir Mansour. I have to state that Amir Mansour is one of the biggest punchers in the heavyweight division. I also have to make the point that Amir Mansour, before he got beat, a lot of people were raving about Mansour, the way he was knocking guys out. It's funny, when a guy gets beat, everyone starts to jump on a bandwagon and start saying how the guy's crap when he gets beat. But Ali suffered so many defeats, Fraser suffered so many defeats, Patterson's suffered defeats, fighters suffer defeats. It just seems in this era of boxing that if a guy suffers a defeat, suddenly he's a bum. Well, I don't quite, you know, I don't subscribe to that. I believe when we lose fights, we can always come back and get better. For Dominic Breazeale, he's a tall heavyweight. He's unbeaten. He comes with heart. The fact he's been dropped in a fight, got up and won a fight, regardless of how he's done it, he's won a fight. Okay, people talk about a Fred Cassie fight as well. Fred Cassie's a decent fighter as well. We saw Hugh Fury fight Fred Cassie, but Hugh Fury's a well-schooled heavyweight. He didn't play American football, and he kept him on the jab. And you saw even, Fred Cassie that he was trying to give a good account of himself. Hugh Fury kept him on the end of a jab, and I did say that a better schooled heavyweight would keep Cassie at the end of a jab, and he'd have difficulty. Having said that, when Hugh was fighting Cassie started closing the range down. Of course, when he got cut, and it would be interesting to see how that fight would have progressed. But I digress slightly to come back to Dominic Breazeale. Yes, he has vulnerabilities. If he gets hit in the chin, he goes down. But name me any heavyweight in the world who gets hit in the chin and doesn't go down. When coming forward, Breazeale has a tendency to get caught coming in when trying to land his own punches. Again, when he does land his punches, he's pretty wild. But then isn't Deontay Wilder pretty wild when he goes to finish as well? So I mean, people can turn a blind eye to things, and then I think people are disappointed by the performance by Charles Martin, and are putting Dominic Breazeale in the same breath. But you got to say, in terms of caliber of opponents, you could say that Mansour's a better fighter than anyone that Charles Martin fought, and Mansour punches very hard. We know that. The first time Anthony Joshua got in the ring with a guy who could actually punch, we saw what happened in the second round. I beat somebody who was injured, and in a lot of people's estimation, he was out of shape. That's regardless of the point. So what are my thoughts on these two fighters? Okay, first of all, Breazeale is unbeaten. When you're an unbeaten fighter, you come with the air of how good are you? What do you like until you get beat? So there's that about Breazeale. He's tall, he's big, he's strong, and I don't want to hear this, he can't punch. Breazeale can punch, okay? And if he hits Joshua on the chin, Joshua will know about it. Whether he's a dynamite puncher is to be seen. I also have to state that Breazeale in his fights against Mansour and Fred Cassie were against guys that were a lot shorter than him. So punching down is always difficult for a very tall heavyweight. And then, so, he's going to be punching somebody who's in eye range to him, So I think that's something that I think people need to consider about Breazeale. Breazeale's going to try. He also fought in the Olympics as well. He didn't do great, but he got into the Olympics. So he's Olympian for that point. As for Anthony Joshua, it's all in his favor. He's fighting at home. His punch power still, Dillian Whyte was rocked in the first round, rocked in the second round, rocked in the third round, but still was able to keep fighting in there. He showed heart, lots of balls, and lots of courage. And he was a guy that was prepared to upset the apple cart. Did Charles Martin come with the intention to upset the apple cart? Who knows? Did Charles Martin get paid off? Who knows? And these things have to be asked, because the way he went down, the way he got up, is Joshua the power puncher? We look at the Kevin Johnson fight. Was Johnson paid off? Or was it the fact that Johnson really got hit with those blows and, Joshua is a devastating puncher? Nobody really knows that, because we all have that Dillian White fight in our minds, because the Dillian White fight is the fight that he put up resistance to Joshua. And when he put up resistance against Joshua, Joshua didn't look so great. And of course, we can't judge how great Joshua is. Everyone's jumping on the bandwagon how great Joshua is. He's a prospect. He's a good fighter. But we don't know how good a fighter is until pressure's put on him. Now he's got a guy who's similar size to him. The difference is that Breazeale's not built like a bodybuilder, whereas Joshua is. So a lot of people will look at that, oh, Joshua's big, he's got big muscles, and jump on the bandwagon with that. And I'm not one who really subscribes again to these bodybuilders looking. It's not Joshua's fault he's built the way that he is. But what I'm saying is that you name me a heavyweight champion in the history of heavyweight boxing that reigned for a long time, that had a body beautiful like that. I think you'll be looking through the history books and struggling. We don't know what Joshua's like going the distance yet. We don't know what he's like when he's really put under some pressure. We know that the one punch for the Dillian White fight, we always go back to that. So, in a nutshell, Joshua Breazeale. Breazeale's got issues. The issues he's got is when he comes forward throwing punches, he's liable to get counterpunched. And Joshua, as we know, as we've seen, can counterpunch. And his hands seem quicker than Breazeale. Breazeale has not got great footwork, and he's kind of slow around the ring. What he has is a decent jab. What he has is a decent jab on him, I think, and he's got size. Apologies for that. He has size in his favor. His size is a big guy. The question is, can he get the jab moving? Can he keep the jab in Joshua's face to line up his own punches? And while he's doing that, at the same time, when he's landing his own punches, can he prevent himself from not getting hit? Those are the questions for Breazeale. And then when he gets hit, how does he react? Now, he went down against one of the biggest punches in heavyweight boxing, which is Mansour, unquestionably, and he got back up. Yeah, he was getting beaten up by Mansour. He still hung in there to get the win, regardless of how you may look at the situation. So for me, this fight could go one of two ways. I think the smart money would be on a Joshua blowout in a few rounds, based on Breazeale's lack of defense. And when he does get offensive, he leaves himself open to getting caught, and he's too tall. I mean, he stands upright, which means he'll get blasted in a couple of rounds by a counter from Joshua. Breazeale trying to throw punches, get ambitious, and get caught. Scenario number one, fight finishes in a couple of rounds. Or scenario number two, Breazeale is able to negotiate or get himself out of the first couple of rounds by using the jab, holding, tying Joshua up when he is tagged, tying him up and getting into later rounds, and then making it an interesting fight. That second scenario, I don't know. The fact that Dominic Breazeale came from an American football background, there's always a problem with that, because you've got someone who's actually has a boxing background. And of course, Joshua was fast tracked. I'm going to go with the basis that the occasion and the fact that Dominic Breazeale is probably heart is too big for his own good. I think he's going to come out trying to give it a go. I think he's going to find that Joshua is a little bit more tighter, a little bit more sharper, a little bit more accurate, and a little better in all of those departments. Better footwork. Jab, questionable. Don't know if Joshua's got a jab. I don't rate Joshua's jab. So I think Breazeale might have a better jab. And that's where I think Breazeale can get off in this fight, using the jab. But again, like I said, when Breazeale gets excited or he starts to throw his punches, let's get something right. When he does get you hurt, he does put his punches together, and he put his punches together, I would say, better than Dillian Whyte. That's the one thing I do like about Breazeale. When he gets you hurt, he puts his combination together nicely. And he's got decent hand speed when that happens. Again, when he's landing his punches and he's unloading, again, he has a tendency to leave his chin up in the air and get caught. I don't see how Dominic Breazeale can make those adjustments necessary in a short space of time that he's had. That being said, I see Joshua win this fight by knockout. Anything within 3 to 5 rounds, I think. You know, I hope that Breazeale comes and gives it a fight and gives us a fight so we can see how good Joshua is. Because you only know how good a fighter is when he's been put under pressure. So we'd like to see that. But if Joshua's struggling against a guy like Dominic Breazeale, then, you know, you've got to seriously consider and think to yourself, is he ready for someone like a Tyson Fury? So my overall thoughts in this fight is Breazeale will come with lots of heart and lots of guts like he did against Mansour, but he's going to find himself on the end of some sharp, fast, hard counters when trying to get forward. Now, he may land, he may not land. This is heavyweight boxing, and in heavyweight boxing, one punch can turn everything around. At the moment, we're in a situation, if Dillian Whyte had done, if he didn't. So can Breazeale, can he talk? He says that Joshua's rattled. Is Joshua rattled? He seemed like he was really pushing the whole agenda with being more on the front foot. You know, this is my turf. I'm the champion. You know, and trying to intimidate Breazeale from the start. Whether those intimidating tactics are based on the fact that he really believes he's a champion and he really believes he's going to do a number on Breazeale, or based on the fact that he's feeling threatened by Breazeale, by a big man that's coming to take something that belongs to him, and there's a little bit of nerves there. I don't know. I don't know. We're only going to know that on fight night or closer to, you know, the weigh-in and stuff like that. But regardless, I think Joshua's going to put Breazeale on his back, and he might not get up. But if he does, I think that Joshua's going to go in and finish the fight off. Those are my thoughts. Breazeale's only hope for me is when he gets caught, to tie up Joshua, tie him up, you know, and take him into later rounds, 7 and 8. That's Breazeale's best hope. 7 and 8, and hope Joshua somehow punches himself out and then take it. That's the only way I see Breazeale win his fight. Joshua gassing and Breazeale jumping on top of him. That's the only way I see Breazeale winning this fight. Okay, those are my thoughts. I think that's about it. I would love to have a chat. I will next time. Again, don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments. What do you think about Joshua Breazeale? Do you think Breazeale has a chance? Yeah, before this fight with Joshua, I thought Breazeale was looking okay. Not great. He was looking okay because he was fighting some decent opposition. He was in some testing fights. A beat he should have lost. I thought he lost against Akasi, but there you go. Those are my thoughts. Take care. I'm out here.